This video is sponsored by Tall Man Toys and Comics. Let me ask you something. Does anybody remember the movie Foodfight? I guess it's safe to say you guys have. This movie is so hated, it's worse than any animated film that I've ever seen. Foodfight is bad, one of the worst films in history even. The characters are stereotypes, the humor is gross and even cringeful. The voice acting doesn't help at all. And while it does have a good concept, it's very not well executed. The animation? How do I put this? Take it away! Take it away! You get the idea. Foodfight is so awful. It has a really big cast in it. Okay, not just a big cast, a really good looking cast. I mean, hear me out, guys. Charlie Sheen, Evelyn Gloria, Ed Asner, Christopher Lloyd, Hilary Duff, Wayne Brady. Tell me if that sounds like a really good cast to you. I say, hell yes. But it's all wasted on such a really crappy script. But why is that? Okay, I told you why the movie was bad, but how did this movie get made? Why does this movie exist? Look, I know there's plenty of videos online about where this movie came from and how it was made, but I want to go in a little bit deeper as to why or how this movie got made. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys the history of Foodfight. I may miss a detail here and there, but I'm going to try to give you all the best details on this channel that I can about this movie, because this movie needs to be seen by everybody, and it deserves to be seen to be believed. So, without further ado, guys, I'm going to give you guys the history of Foodfight. Now, let's start from the very beginning. In 1995, there was a little film called Toy Story. Kind of weird to start, but let's just say it's going to connect to what we're talking about. Toy Story was a game changer in both film and animation. And around that time, everyone was wanting to be like Toy Story. This takes us to Threshold Entertainment, known for Star Trek 4D and the distributors behind the Mortal Kombat movies. Lawrence Kasanoff, the director, producer, and writer for the film, wanted to make a movie that was very similar to Toy Story, but with food mascots. That's not a bad idea for a concept if you ask me. The movie was also, just like Toy Story, computer animated, but Kasanoff wanted to make something that would resemble the Looney Tunes shorts or Tom and Jerry, and basically try to do that squash and stretch like you see in most animated films you see today. The movie also slated for a 2002 release. Okay, so everything's good. We got our cast, we got our concept and our animation. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I'll tell you what went wrong, and this is what caused all the chaos with this film. So it turns out, all the hard drives from the original cut were stolen. I am not kidding. That is literally the only thing we know. And so far, we have no further information who stole it or where all the hard drives went. So, what to do now? Well, considered Larry as the director of this, Larry wanted to just keep going with the project and start the movie from scratch. Keep the same celebrities, but change the animation and the direction of the story. In 2005, Lionsgate bought the rights to the film, but here's where the story gets a little weirder and stranger. The movie was supposed to be released in 2005, but nothing came of that. There were rumors saying that it was supposed to be released in 2007, mostly because of copyright issues, but even I still can't find any information about that. And then finally got a release on DVD in 2012 and a limited release in theaters in the United Kingdom that same year. And the result was this. Take it away! Take it away! Foodfight was released and was panned by critics and viewers alike, calling it one of the worst films of all time. It was panned for its humor, animation, voice acting, and sexual innuendos. Now let's recap for a second. Why did this movie fail? Was it because of Lionsgate? Are they the reasons why this movie failed? Not really. They only distributed the film. They had little to do with the whole production. Was it Threshold's fault for the production of the movie? No, not even they were the reason. This may sound a little bit harsh, but I feel like the reason why this movie failed was because of this man right here. All he wanted to do was try to rip off Toy Story, or at least make his own. And because of his lack of experience, there would have been no way this film would have been worked. Now, let's say Lawrence didn't direct this movie, forget all the production troubles, and the animation was different. Would the movie would have been good? No, not even. You guys have got to remember, this movie was poorly written. The animation, although it would have been good for the time, still looked pretty dated. The humor is cringeful and gross, and everything about it just seemed like a bad idea from the start. I mean, yeah, the movie had potential, but maybe with the right people it would have worked, but it just didn't seem to grasp everybody's attention. So yeah, this movie probably would not have been a big hit to begin with, even without the production troubles. So, overall, guys, Food Fight may be one of the worst films ever made, but Food Fight does have the most interesting backstory for film. I can't think of a production this rampant and this wild for any film, honestly. So, that's saying something. For a production this wild, it's actually kind of interesting. I mean, Food Fight is no means a good movie because of it, but to give Food Fight credit, without this crazy production everybody talks about online, it's kind of fascinating. It's good to talk about it. So, while the film is not good, I mostly recommend checking out the production behind this movie. And I'm sure there's plenty of online critics and people and reviewers that have already talked about the production, but it's good to talk about. I definitely recommend looking into more information about this film. I wouldn't recommend watching the movie because the movie's awful, but I say go check out more of the production. One more time. Take it away! Take it away!